and only Schumann and his wife Clara listened to Brahms play. This moment was the turning point in Brahms' life. He instantly felt at home here, at ease, understood, welcomed. He played to them, and just as with Joachim, they were quite overwhelmed by his music and his personality. Their diaries are full of Brahms and the effect his music had on them. The most influential musical journal of the day was Neue Zeitschrift für Musik. On October 28th, 2 weeks after they met, there appeared there an essay by Schumann on Brahms called Neue Bahnen, New Ways. It talked of his work in such terms as to alert the world to the work Brahms had already written at such an age, and what Schumann felt certain was to come. Before he quite knew where he was, Brahms was in Leipzig at the publishers Breitkopf and Härtel. With such a remarkable introduction, they could hardly refuse to listen. Sonata Opus 1 was dedicated to Clara Schumann, and Sonata Opus 2 to Joachim. Being Brahms, he thought nothing was good enough for Schumann himself. His friendship with Clara Schumann was to be one of the most remarkable of his life. Though she was the mother of 6 children, and 14 years older than Brahms, there is little doubt that he loved her. But then he worshipped Robert, and found the children charming, so where could he go? By the time he was back home in Hamburg at Christmas that year, he had had a tumultuous 7 months, seen his first works in print, and been able to give his parents some money. From a nonentity to such fame in so short a time might have spoiled him. But it didn't. He remained as kind and thoughtful for others as ever. The Schumanns came to Joachim's house at the end of January, and Brahms had the time of his life. Only 1 month later, Schumann was to be devastated by a nervous disorder which was ultimately to destroy him. Within a few days he tried to drown himself in the Rhine, and though he was saved, it was only to experience terrible mental torment. For Clara and his children, it was an appalling calamity. Brahms went straight to Düsseldorf, and unquestionably his sympathy and help was a great comfort to Clara. If he was supposed to be launching his career, then it had to be put aside while he could help the family. He stayed by Clara or wrote to her while she was away on tour, absolutely consumed by his love for her. It was only 18 months later that he was persuaded to give a concert with Clara herself and Joachim in Danzig. Of course, Brahms was not stealing Clara from the now insane Schumann. He wished for Schumann's recovery with all his heart. But just where he stood in all this was tearing him apart. Then in July 1856, Robert Schumann died. It was a turning point for Brahms. His father, after all, had married a woman 17 years older. Why should he not marry Clara? He chose, however, to follow his muse rather than his heart.